Give North Dakota a lot of credit. I believe this is the 5th or the 6th first-timer that we have played in the tournament, and by far North Dakota has played us better than all the others that we had in the first round of the tournament. What we were not doing well was making good decisions. When you're off 15 days, I think it really shows in your shooting percentage and sometimes in your thinking. We got back in the ball game. The press was not effective in the first half. We don't usually press that much anyway, but in the second half it was. Our transition basketball was very good. But we've got to play a lot better if we expect to go anywhere else in the NCAA tournament. So we'll just use this as a day that we were not at our best, and I'm sure Travis probably said the same thing with North Dakota, but both of us have been off for a while. But we're going to take the W, we're going to learn from it, we're going to grow from it, and then we've got to play a very good James Madison team on Tuesday night.
Questions for our student athletes? Cease.
Robert Sesta, Bryan College Station Eagle. Jordan, take us through the first half struggles. What do you feel the problem was, and take us what you thought the difference was coming out of the locker room?
Really just intensity, getting back into the flow of our offense and of our game. Like Coach said, we were off 15 days, but I feel like we prepared very well and practiced in those 15 days. But we're a flow team, and when we're flowing, we're pretty hard to defend, and you saw that pretty much in the second half. So we really just went into halftime. The coaches just really talked to us about this is going to be a short season for us if we don't pick it up. So that was really our main focus, was just pick up the intensity, use our speed and quickness, get out in transition, and it showed that in the second half.
Here in the center.
Tyler Stafford, the battalion. Carlo, what was it like knowing that this was the possibility of being your last home game? Did that affect your performance at all?
I don't really think so. I just think, once again, not saying that it's an excuse for us being off the floor, but you can most definitely tell the difference. You can tell that we haven't played a game in a while. And, of course, knowing it's possibility of the last game, it's always in your back of your mind. But other than that, I just think it was just an off game for us, and that I was just glad that we picked it up in the second half.
Ronnie.
For Jordan, in that second half when you guys were making that run, you guys had that play. I think it was Walker to you to Williams for the and one. Just take us through that play, and it kind of seemed to turn the crowd and get the crowd fired up.
As you can tell, me and Seawalk, we really feed off of each other a lot. We really just made that connection with one another, and we know where each other are on the floor most of the time, and we really just go through that in practice. We do a 3-on-2 drill, and us three, we really get into that drill a lot together. So it was basically repetition. And I knew that once Courtney passed the ball to me, the girl was going to run out. And I saw Courtney Williams diving down to the post, and I knew that she can pretty much score on anybody when she wants to. So it was just all a matter of good ball movement and running the floor. And that's what we just got to give credit to the coaches, because they just harp on us in practice that transition, and that it really does matter. And as you can tell, we really executed in transition in the second half.
Right here, Christy.
Carla, even though y'all ended up winning after a good second half, are y'all a little unhappy that y'all didn't play as well as you expected to, considering it's a tournament?
Most definitely. One thing that we harp on is not to sell ourselves short, and by far this was one of the worst games that we played, but I'm glad that we were able to pull it out and at least pick it up in the second half.
Anything more for student athletes? Right here in the center.
Jordan, you're the new A&M single-season assist record holder. What does that feel like?
It doesn't feel like a national championship. So really, whatever it takes to get my team to that point, and that's really all that I'm concerned about in this moment of time. But I mean, it's a feeling.
Over here.
Molly Ferguson, KBTX. This is for any of you who want to answer. A second half performance like that, going on runs, how do you keep that momentum going into Tuesday now? What do you do to make sure you don't come out cold like you were in the first half?
I guess it's just, understanding on what we did not execute well in the last game and what we need to focus on more and continue on for the next game and to make sure that we don't do it again, Like we said, this is a one-and-out tournament, so everything is on the line.
Over your Cease.
Tori, scores tied there near the end of the half, 26-26. You get a couple buckets. Could you take us through that? And talk about your play tonight.
Well, I think, as Coach Blair always told me, when I get on the floor, just be efficient and have energy. So that's what I tried to bring today. Like, I tried to bring as much energy as I could by playing the best player and just running the floor, really. That's all.
Anything else for student athletes? No. All right, ladies, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now questions for Coach Blair. Let's go over here to Christy.
Coach, I'm sure after that first half you weren't very happy with your team. Can you share with us some of the things you told them at halftime to get them on track?
Well, unfortunately, ESPN was in there at my halftime, and my assistant said to me, "My gosh, Coach, you were so hard on them at halftime right there. The whole nation heard that." But we had to win a ball game. We had to find a way to win a ball game, and sometimes you just can't keep patting athletes on their back all the time. If you're not playing well, we needed those 4 points before half. That gave us a lot of momentum, and that's just the character. I think we responded well. We came out and fired at them right at the start of the second half, built the lead, got it over 20, but it wasn't a speech. I didn't have to say a thing. I think our kids knew when you have Jordan and Carla sitting on the bench as much as we did in the first half, that really hurts your offensive flow. As a result, my bench went 3 for 15, 0 for 4 from the free throw line. They did a couple of nice things, but other than that, I've got to have more production from that bench. Williams is not normally going to shoot 3 for 13, but everybody else was about right on their average. What they normally shoot, but I've got to have production. Mitchell, it's like that old Clint Eastwood movie, The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. And sometimes, but she can help us. And I can waste some fouls because she intimidates in there and does a good job of blocking shots or changing shots. And so I've made up my mind when Carla gets her first foul, she's coming out till the referees settle down, until Carla settles down, until Carla realizes I've got to have her for 28 minutes a ball game at least.
In the very back.
Coach Mike McCoy, ABC 40. You mentioned how shots weren't going. That's due to 15 days of break and everything like that, maybe some of the nerves. But did you try and make it a point to get it in the paint a little more and to give Carla, a little more momentum to try and get that flow, as you say, going?
We got some great touches inside. We just didn't have finishes. Sherry didn't finish well. Mitchell didn't. Jada missed one. Carla missed some early. Williams missed some. It was this team does a good job blocking shots and contesting. They weren't just up there playing bank robber defense. They were contesting us pretty good, and we were just not doing a good job of finishing. We wanted to start the game inside first. I was really surprised they opened up playing us man. I think when we got the 10-5 lead, they switched to a zone like everybody else in the country plays us, and our zone offense was not very good. And I think it kept them in the ball game because it kept them out of foul trouble. And you've got to have a balance inside and outside. And hopefully we'll have that against James Madison.
Here on the left, Olin.
Olin Buchanan with Texags. Gary, could you speak to the performance that Courtney Walker had, and then she's been on kind of a roll for the last 10 games or so. Have you just come to expect that from her?
I come to expect it, and I really didn't think this was one of our better ball games. And look at the stat line. I mean, the stat line, you'd die to have that stat line, but I thought she got tired at the end. their middle person was coming out and contesting her shot. And that's usually a guard's job, but their middle was doing a good job of coming out, and she was shooting it short. But my gosh, what a player. I mean, what a player. She rarely takes a bad shot, but I've got to give her some little bit of rest because it's going to be hard pressed for her to play 40 minutes against James Madison. That's why I got a good bench. Knox and Jennings and Grant, they all came in. I started Torrey because I felt like North Dakota was a 4-guard offensive team. And that's basically what James Madison is also. But I started Torrey mainly just to get us into transition, and she's better in the press than Sherry or Williams. So we'll have to see what we come up with on Tuesday night.
In the back, KO.
Coach, Kevin O'Connor, WTAW. You guys started turning the screws on the press a little bit. If there's a fatigue problem, you can be able to do that against James Madison?
No, they will handle that press a whole lot better. Their guards are excellent. They won an up-tempo game. North Dakota did not want an up-tempo game. They wanted a half-court ball game, and they did a good job of breaking our press in the first half. Give them credit. James Madison wants us to press them because I promise you they want to go up and down. And my gosh, when you got Burkholder in there, what a load she is. You know, she was shooting 1 for 10 at one time and had 13 rebounds during that same time. Quick release. She's got it all. I'm just very impressed. So what type of game we want to win the boards like we did tonight and play a little bit better defense on the half court against their good guards and stop their transition.
In the very back.
Coach, somewhat of a two-part question. How important is it going to be to have a great start against James Madison compared to what you had against North Dakota? And also, they're somewhat of a scrappy team. It could get into foul trouble and then go to free throw shooting. How will you try and play with that?
Well, the first thing, the NCAA committee seeded James Madison wrong. They're a whole lot better than their seed. And look who they played. They played North Carolina 3. I think they beat Vanderbilt. They beat St. John's at St. John's by 15, a team that we lost to. I think they should have been an 8-9 seed. And I'm sure Kenny probably thinks the same way, but it doesn't matter. They went and took care of business against a very good Gonzaga team. And I was sitting there watching that first half, and I didn't know who I wanted to play. I was hoping it would go 8 overtimes and they'd be a little tired, but their execution is so good. James Madison shares the ball. We're going to have our hands full in this ball game because they play with a little bit of a swag. They got a lot of confidence in their game and in themselves, and I want us to get that swag back. I want our guards to play like we did against Auburn and Tennessee, not like what we played today.
Time for a couple more. Ronnie.
Coach, you've talked about the importance of consistency in your program before. I think this is the 8th straight year you've now won a first-round game. Can you just speak on that and the level your program's at right now?
Ronnie, I might be old, but I still got a lot of bills to pay, okay? And Texas Bank and Trust owns a lot of mortgages for me right now because we're going to get off to a good start. We never overlook anyone, anytime, and we try to peak. Like I said earlier yesterday, it's good that we get to see the men play first, and I can use all the motivational talks about a 15 beating a 2 and an 8 beating a 1 and all that type of stuff. I don't take anything lightly, and I'm definitely not going to take James Madison lightly. I think it'll be a very guard-orientated ball game. I think both teams have very, very good guards. And who's going to guard a little bit better, who's going to hit the free throws, because I think James Madison ended up shooting only 36%, so it wasn't their best offensive night. It wasn't our best offensive night. Sometimes that's the pressure of the NCAA tournament.